Hi everyone and welcome to Bonsai Expression. I'm Christoph and today, well, check it out. I'm working on this Mammoth Larch that I got from the Birmingham Bonsai Boot Sale. I always struggle saying that. It's just one of them tongue twisters. But anyway, that's where I got it from. And just look at this thing. It's an absolute mammoth. It's a behemoth anyway. £60 bargain. Anyway, let's get into this and let me tell you what we're going to be doing. So, first things first, the weather. Beautiful. I'm sat here, it's 5:30 in the evening and the sun's still out, cracking the flags, although I've probably got about an hour and a half left of daylight before that sun starts going in, which means I'm going to have to probably realistically finish this tree off tomorrow because I want to get the top done. We've got loads of crossing branches, we've got branches that probably need removing because some of them are dead, and these big thick branches probably need a reposition as well. So some of them just need slightly adjusting, which means I've got to wrap them in some heavy duty wire and give them a bit of a move. Not an easy task, but I'm going to try and do that. On top of that as well is we need to do some severe root work. Wow, I'm hoping it's not severe, but I do need to do a bit of root work and I need to get it in that lovely pot I've bought as well from the Birmingham Bonsai Boot Sale. There we go, said it correctly this time. So that's what the agenda is today. I've probably got to remove some of these branches as well. Like I say, this one here is probably a bit too close to the trunk itself off the branch. So if I leave that, that's going to cause swelling. And then I just got to detangle, declutter. It's a bit of a mess, bit of a bird's nest up top, and it's the same everywhere else. So we've just got to go in, as I say, and let's clear some of it off. And I've just got to clear it up, make sure it looks nice, looks tidy. Basically, the tree has just been, I wouldn't say neglected, that's not quite the word, but it's not been given the love and attention that a tree like this deserves. So let's give it that love and attention that a tree like this does deserve. So follow me on this journey. We'll get you in, give you a little bird's eye view on what I'm going to look down on in, and we're going to trim away some of this. And we'll just start off nice and easy. We'll just go in, have a look at some of them crossing branches, anything that doesn't look like it's supposed to be there. We'll start off by removing some of the dead stuff, and then we'll progress from there. And as I say, I'm probably going to have to finish this off tomorrow with that root work and getting it in a bigger pot. So first things first, let's swap this camera angle, get you looking down, and we'll just start by snipping out the obvious. So let's get into it. Now I'm stood up for this work because the tree is so big. I've got it on a chair and it just makes it a lot easier for me to work while I'm stood up because I don't want to be bent over, straining on my back. So this branch, as I was just saying to you, is too close to the trunk line, as you can see here. So I'm just going to come in, I'm going to snip it off. As you see, there you go. It's a pretty decent sized branch, as you can see. And I'm just going to take that off. And it is a pretty clean cut straight away. So I don't need to worry about that. But that looks better straight away. So that's my first one. I've got this branch here that comes out and it goes straight back, right across, just here. Now before I do anything with that, I'm just going to slightly move the tree around so I can have a look. So it's just here, comes across. Now what I would like to do before I even attempt is, am I able to adjust this position before I try and cut it off? Now I'm not able to adjust it at all, so what I'm going to have to do is just again remove that branch. So I'm just going to come in, take that one off as well, and then I'm going to try and clean it up. So that cleans that section up, and then I've got this part as well that goes straight up. Let's just come in and take that one off. Let's make sure it's a clean cut. I'll remove it. Again, we've got another section that goes straight up. Let's come in and take that off. So again, all I'm going to do is come in and just make nice easy sections, clear outs. This part here, this whole section that I'm wiggling is completely dead, so you can see that. So again, I'm just going to come in and clean that off. I'm going to take it off completely, right at the base, just there. And again, I'm going to try and clean it up neat and as possible. There we go. Again, while we're doing that, I can see that I've got branches that are going right across. So before I do anything else, I've got branches, as I say, that come across, but I've got dead bits on them. Before I do anything and start shaping them, I'm just going to take the dead bits out. Working my way, taking all the dead bits off. I don't want to take any live bits off first and foremost. I want to make sure everything is living on the tree before we make any decisions in terms of taking the live bits off and styling those bits. I want to make sure that anything that grows up and outwards in the wrong directions are out, and any dead sections are off the tree as well first. Then once I've done that, I will make the styling decisions. But before that, I don't want to be making decisions in case I've got dead sections and I'm styling around dead sections. I've took off this dead section here, but I've took it too far back, and this section is all healthy. Now that's something that I don't want to be doing throughout the tree. I should be taking it here. So if I continue doing that, I might take off half a tree or a section of the tree that we could be later using in styling the tree. So that is something I want to avoid. I just want to be going in, taking off dead sections only for the time being. Then once we've done that, we can come in and continue working throughout the tree where we know we've got live sections to work with, and we can make decisions based on living sections, and we can reposition sections as well on them decisions. By taking that dead section out, it's created a big hole just here, but I have a little section here. I've got sections growing in the wrong place, going backwards, but this section is alive. It could be wired and brought to bend into this position later on. These sections are probably going to be cut back, so they'll be cut into a different position, probably even removed off completely. So this one would probably be bent like that when it's wired up, covering the mess that was where it died off. So again, that's something we need to look at doing as we take out these dead sections. So this section here, this part here is growing upwards. I'm just going to come in and take that one off. I don't want anything growing up. Again, I've got this section here that's completely died off. Another big section. And then that section here has also died off. So again, you can just see that this whole section now, we've cleared it off because of a section after section that's been previously dead and it's been left in. And by taking them out, you've opened yourself up. Now if I continue that through the tree, we might also have another empty spaces through dead sections. Now if I was styling around that, I might have also took live sections off, which then produces even bigger sections. So there you go, look at that. Big empty space, big live space. And as I say, if I'm styling around dead sections, I might have left the dead section in, styled around it, then realised there's a dead section and left that in, cut it out, and then I've made a big boo-boo. So I'm going to continue around the tree, just removing the dead sections. Once I've done that, I'll start styling and then I'll come back to you. The tree itself is opened up an awful lot because I've had loads of dead bits on it, more than I expected. So as you can see, the branch structure now is looking really open. The top section is looking a lot better just for a minor trim. As you can see through it now, but with all the dead pieces gone, you can see through it. Now the only thing I've done is I've took a little bit off, nothing major. So these sections that I took off, little bits, So these bits were just at the ends, or little sections that were actually poking up like this, and so I'm going to start doing that properly now. But look at all my dead sections. There's absolutely loads of dead bits on this tree, and that's probably because it's due repot so badly that the tree has started to die back, and that's obviously also a contributing factor. Is the tree is just growing in every direction like this here, and it's starting to shade out the light. So if I come over and show you, we've now got, you can now see we've got sections growing in the wrong direction, so we're going to start clearing that out, and we're also going to start taking things that are growing upwards. So anything growing upwards, just like this part that grows across here, and if I show you stuff that actually grows upwards, I think I've took most of it out, but just like that end bit there, that grows upwards, so I'll probably just take it back to that bud there. I'll come in and snip it. I'm not left-handed, so I can't do it. And then obviously I've got this section here that grows back on itself. I'm just going to come in, snip that, and obviously I'll take that back as well. These sections here, it grows across. I'm going to take that off. I'll leave the bud open to grow, and then there we go. I've got sections here like that one that grows straight up. I'll be taking that off just there. So I'll be going through doing that section, and then hopefully once we've done all this and we've done a repot, it will start back budding again. And then I've got a branch back here. I'll probably leave it, but I'll take this section of the branch off. If I spin it round just there, and I'll get over, you'll see the branch comes this way. I'll leave this, but then this bit here actually curls back on itself at the top. I'll probably take that off because it comes up and then goes this way, but it also goes across the branch. I'll just take this side branch off. But everything else is looking quite nice. Although it is sparse, it's looking better. I do like the way it's looking. So if I get you like there, you can see, we can actually see the tree. I can now bring it in to make it more compact. I can see what I'm working with. It looks sparse, but it does look better. So now when it's there, I can actually bring it in and reduce it probably a little bit in the way I want it to go. And then up top, it's still bird's nest like. See, we're touching, we need to reduce that section as well. Now I'm losing light, so I might not be able to get all of this done, but I'm going to start continuing and see where I get to. But definitely root wise, I'm going to have to get them done tomorrow. So once I've continued with this little section, I'll be back. Now it's the next day and the sun again is cracking the flags, but I am limited with time because I've got to go to work. And after all that work I did yesterday, I still need to do a lot of trimming. But now this is a big but, because I don't have a lot of time, and I've realized something major. Although I do need to go through and trim a lot of the stuff off, I've also realized that we do need to do a big wire on this tree, because, and I'll show you why. This section here looks like a bit of a mess and a bit of a jumble. Now it's not that bad. If I wire it, I can reposition some of these into the correct position. So this would move down, and this here, where I've got this really big long, if I just reposition it, I've got this really long branch here, and I've got this intertwining coming up. If I wire it and I move it down, let's see if I can actually move it without interfering on the camera, and I move this here, this then becomes somewhat usable. This can be positioned. The whole branch itself is flexible enough to be able to position the whole section, including that. We can actually reposition all of these branches in the right sections, and then this one that stands up again can be pushed down. I know my fingers are all in the way, but it just goes to show I can reposition the branches and then trim them back to where they need to be, which is here, here, and then trim these back to here. They will position themselves correctly, just somewhat there, somewhat like this, and again these all these ones can be repositioned as well. So before I go ham taking everything off, I need to put some wire on them. But I do need to start correcting some of the obvious mistakes on the ones that are growing up. So the likes of this one here, which is right, if I can show you, which is right on the knuckly bit here. If I grow, that will continue to swell. So stuff like that needs to go. So that's an obvious error for branching. So I can remove stuff like that, which was there. That's not going to cause an issue. But stuff like this, which I thought might have been an issue, I'm going to have to leave until I've wired. So this does now make my decisions more and more difficult. In the apex region, I'm just trying to thin it out a little bit. Still got a couple of dead sections, but only minor. Just trying to take those out, just so I can see where I'm going. And then I thinned out this little section here. I took out a big gap, but it now allows light to pass through. And we've got this section. If I just move you over a little section, I've got this section here. I've got, if I just bring it, I've got a branch that crosses just here. And it's crossing in between two branches, so I need to come and snip that. So I've removed that whole section. See if I can tidy that up a little bit. That looks better if I show you from a different angle. You can now see. There we go. So I've taken it from there. It was just approaching or impeaching on top. Looks a hell of a lot better. If I bring you on section here, as I move round, nice little branch here. See if we can clean this up. Nice little branch coming on. So if I have a look round, let's give a quick spin. It's mainly at this point just neatening everything up. I'm making decisions around that neat section. So again, 3 into 2. This section goes back into the tree. Take it out. Try not to cut the buds out. Got these two, it splits off. It's gonna, might be in your line, but there we go. Take that section out. It's now going to come this way. I'm going to take the end bud off so it goes to the right. Bring that back to this bud. And the same with this one as well. A whole plethora of buds here. I'm just going to take that branch off. Branch here, I'm going to take this one out. So I'll grow in, and I grow in towards this. This side here, you see I've got a branch. It's growing in towards the tree as well. I'm going to take that one off. Just don't want things growing in towards the tree. This one is growing upwards. This one is growing in towards the tree as well. Let's take that out. I don't need that branch. A dead bit here. Also just going to take that back. I need to take this branch out as well in the apex region. I'm going to take this branch off as well. It's just a bit too close. I've got this one. Take it back a little bit. I think overall, the apex region now is a lot better. In fact, let's just reduce that a little bit. Let's pull everything in just a tiny amount. Okay, I'm happy with how that was looking. I think it's just this one that needs pulling in, and I'll just bring it into them pair of buds. It's this branch here. I'm just going to take that one off. Take this branch off because I've got this one just here. So let's take it out completely. Just at the base of this branch, a long one. I've thinned out all the top section now, as you can see. I'll have you a nice little walk around there, and it looks a hell of a lot better. We've thinned it all out. You can see right through it. So now I've trimmed a lot of the end buds as well, so it'll force the buds back. The light will get through it. It's not putting as much pressure on the tree to get to the tips. I just need to go through the rest of the tree, wire that up, and do the same. I've not really done too much in terms of the lower section yet, so let me show you. It needs wiring first, and then we'll proceed to continue like we have done up top. So I've started wiring it, and I've done just so much wrapping around this. I've done 2 lots of it just to give me enough support that when I bend these thick trunks, well, thick branches, that it supports it. And I've done that. I've managed to move it, and then the rest of this, I know it's not the most tidy in the world, but it's doing the job, and I've done it enough, not too tight, but tight enough that I've managed to move everything, and I've wrapped enough. Just bear in mind, it's not the greatest wiring job in the world, but it's done enough to the fact that I've been able, and as you can see, I've been able to trim and position this branch in a way that it looks okay, and it'll support it and move everything. And I've managed to cut everything back and move everything, as I say, in a line in accordance to what I need. I've got everything back to where it needs to be, just this branch so far, and it looks a mess. I know, I get that, but everything's able to just be positioned around just like that bit there and just support it. It's really terrible job, I get that, but the amount of times I've wrapped it round, it's enough to support it, and I've bent it into the position. So if I've just moved this just like that, you can see from an angle that it was sort of here, and I've gone not quite 45 degrees, maybe about 30 degrees this way, and now it is right directly behind the tree instead of just pointing over here. And now this one, when I do it as well, I will just move it, because it comes out this way. I'll move this one just slightly over here, and we'll reposition it. It looks bad, but once it's all done, I'll be able to move it in a way that the tree's set in position. Just trust me, it'll work. It won't look the tidiest, but if I keep it on there, it'll set for a good 12 to 18 months. I'll keep it in position, and it'll look right. Not all jobs have to be perfect as long as they work. We're not in it for a show, we're in it to get it right. And work with what you've got. It looks awful, I know, but it's not a show tree. It's getting it right, and I'm working with what I've got. I've only got 2 grades of wire left. I should have picked some up at the bonsai boot sale, but alas, I was more interested in picking up trees and picking up pots. I didn't think about wire, so I'm working with what I've got. Once I've wired this one up, I can move it, trim it, and it'll be in position, This one's okay, just need to trim it back, give it a slight alter, and then the top bit is all done. Don't need to wire that. Just trust me, it'll work. Just watch. Now the wires are an absolute jungle of a mess. It just looks disgusting. But bear with me, because I put this extra wire on going across from this branch over here to this branch, and I've put a lot of tension on it, so now this branch has actually moved significantly and it's pulled it right over. So now this is my new front, and as you can see, I've got a left branch, a right branch, and an actual back branch. So I've actually pulled it from this direction, so the branches itself was actually here, and I've pulled it right over into this sort of direction here. And now, as I say, this is my new front here, and it looks a hell of a lot better. So the front itself was originally just sat there, so if you see just how far that has actually moved over. So that was the front. Let me give you a proper visual representation so you can see how far that's moved. And as I say, the amount of wrapping I've done, because I've done a few wraps there, but then I've wrapped all this excess for all these other, yeah, it's unsightly, but I've got the job done. Just look at the state of it. It's the worst I've ever done. And bear in mind, I've been doing this in between work. It originally looked like that, just one or two, and then I've continually gone over it to anchor it, and I've just led over to that, and I'm not really bothered because I've got the job done. The branches have moved, I've not snapped them, so I've done it properly. The back branch as well has actually moved over. I've managed to get it from that sort of angle into a right position, so now it actually looks proper. We've got a proper back branch, I've got a proper side branch. I just need to amend this one. This one now doesn't need to move at all, apart from just a couple of branches here onto the left and to the right like this. Spread them out, space them. If I get you onto an angle where you can see how it has moved and adjusted, you can see it looks an awful lot better. And as I say, I'm just going to leave this on to settle. After about 18 months, it should hopefully have held, and I can start moving and unwiring. Maybe just have to leave this one on just to keep it in position, because them branches just need to hold. They're going to hold tight. There's so much elasticity in the branch. Is that the right word? Anyways, a lot of tension on the branches, so that's going to hold into place. And then we've got, as I say, everything wired down. All the branches are separated. I may need to do a little bit more cut back, but for now it's all done. There's some branches like this one here I might not necessarily need, but it's coming along nicely. As you can see, everything's separated, so now I just need to do this one. Once it's done, I'll show you, and then I'll just get into the repot. And just to prove I'm not completely useless at wiring up, I've done the branches here on this side properly. I have had to wire an absolute load around this section, obviously, because I've got all this section and I've got this one I've had to wire a few times, so I've got numerous wire sections going over this. But other than that, the rest of this section is good. I need to take this middle section out, and then I can adjust all these other branches. I can bring this one in a little bit, bring this one down and around, bring it all back in, because this is just facing outwards towards me. This one ultimately can go, it is in the way. So it's wired in. I'm just going to come in and remove the wire at the bottom. No longer needed. I am going to make the cut. I want to lose the branch. It is a nice big hefty branch as well. Now I don't know if larches actually take from such a big cutting. I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to put it in a bit of water, see if I can get it to go. I'm sorry about the wet noise. It has picked up quite significantly. So I'm going to try neaten this off as much as I can. Now I've cleared up this section, so this branch can now be moved in somewhat. Whole Okay. So we can move this around a little bit. Bring that one back a little bit over here. Outwards. Give it a small twist. I'm going to bring that one out here with a bit of, let's take that one out. I'm going to bring that one out here with a bit of wire. Now it's all wired up and I've started, well, I've finished removing the branches as well that I think I don't need, although I have left a couple of ones on that potentially are going to be removed, but give me the option just in case anything dies back or they may be used in the process of a different design later on. So case in point is this one here. It is close to the main trunk line. Not entirely sure if it's going to get used in the final design, but it's there just in case. This one here probably going to get used, but I'm not entirely sure. So this one could potentially go, and same again with this one here and the one further on the back, this one here. Just the way it goes, it probably doesn't work right now, but I just want to give myself a couple of options. Everything else is been removed and I do like the way it's positioned. As you can see, it's got this nice primary branches. I've got a couple of secondary branches, just need to grow them tertiary branches as well. This branch here, so first branch grows off here, second branch now has been moved in position. It's got a nice tight piece pulling it into position. That is also pulling this one into position, so they're being tightly pulled like this, keeping them right. It comes along, and then I've got this section here as well, so these are going to grow into position. And then I've got these other bits. This one, as I say, probably going to lose it, as well as the back one here. And then I've got this one as well that grows all the way in position. The apex of the tree is now looking stunning. Do really like it. And then overall, if I just move my chair back a little bit, the actual silhouette of the tree is looking spectacular, and you can see the actual shadow of it. It's casting, looking good. So it's now going to be repot into my new pot here, and this is the angle we're going to set it in. Now, yes, it is looking an absolute disaster, but not concerned about that because I've got everything in the right place, and this is how it's going to look. And then give it 18 months, we get the wire off, because I think it's going to take that long to set properly, because the larches are quite flexible. They don't always stay in position once you take all the wire off. These ones, not too concerned, they'll probably come off in about 8 months, maybe less than that. We'll see how we go. But everything else, generally quite happy with it. Just need to do some root work. Don't really want to be taking too much of the roots off. I know I've even called myself the butcher of bonsai. I'm not going to take too much roots off. Even if they're gnarly, I'm just going to go in, keep it simple. I'm going to do the kiss effect. Keep it simple, stupid, and then get it in a nice big pot, because I like this tree. I want to keep it alive. So I'm going to do a quick repot. I'm not going to show you everything. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the roots and then get it in my bonsai soil, get it in there. I've got loads and loads of sphagnum moss as well in my bonsai soil this year. Absolute caked of it. So let's get it in. And the pot is already set, ready to go. So, and I've already taken the wire out, so it comes off nice and easy. As always, I'm going to work radially. I've got loads of nice moss, and don't know anything about these roots, because obviously it's my new tree, so I don't know what's in here. I don't know what the soil mix is like, although it does look like probably a bit of akadama, maybe a bit of molder as well in there. Is it Akadama? Yeah, it looks like a bit of Akadama. So I'm just going to tease it out. It's going away nicely, so it's in some decent soil. Let's see if I can get some of this moss off the trunk line as well. Just going to go in. It's breaking down nicely. So looks like I've got some good soil. I've got good healthy roots as well by the looks of it. Again, I'm not going to be taking too much roots off. We're going to go in, be gentle with this, get all this moss off the top. I try and keep a bit of this moss if I can. The roots themselves, on the bottom of the tree, I had this big gangly root. So this was on it, and I took this one off. And then a couple of minor roots. And that's pretty much all I've done. I've washed them out, and the tree's root system now looks somewhat like this after it's been washed out. And then I just made sure the bottom was flat completely, and we're left with this. I think that's plenty of roots to keep this tree alive. As I say, these bits came off it. I've done about 50% root, if that. But this one, this was at the bottom, and it was under there circling, and it was just at the bottom here, and it was just gnarly. So I've taken it off, and now I'm just going to prep the pot, get it tied in, and we're going to continue, get this in the tree, get the tree in the pot even, and by the time we're finished, we'll have a nice tree in a nice pot. And basically I'm just going to come back to you guys once I'm done, and I'll show you the finished article. So I've got it potted up, the roots are done, the awful wiring is now done, everything's set in place with nice sturdy wire to pull these branches in place. As you can see, everything is now looking a hell of a lot better. All the branches are now in shape. I've got this nice tie down, keeping the tree in position as well, with a different angle as always. I've got the tie down in the pot as well. So this is how we've got it. We've got the nice left branch, nice right branch, nice back branch, and we've got the apex as well already in position. So this has finally took me 3 days to do, and pretty excited to see how it's going to go and recover. I finally got here with this one. 3 days in between going to work and getting this one done. The wiring, it's not my greatest job, and that's because I've rushed it, but it's in place, it's set. The branches have now been moved slightly, all right, not slightly, but they have been moved back in position. This one's been pulled back, the back branch has now been pulled behind the tree itself, and now it's been spread in a way that the branch is now visible from behind it, and it's been spread out. So the branches have all been laid out. I've trimmed it up properly. The root system has been reinvigorated. The branch that I cut off has been curled round. It's now been flat bottomed as well. So I'm really happy about how this is going to go and develop in the future. The apex is now cleared out as well, so you can see through the tree. The branches have all been cleared out of all the dead bits, and everything has been cleared back, so now it's got room to grow and develop. So the tree has been given a new lease of life again, as I say, and I'm happy to where it's at. I've got a couple of extra branches I've left on just in case anything happens, and we've now got stuff to fall back on as well. Not that I think anything should happen with the tree, but I think it should go in the right direction. I can't wait to see where this one goes. I think it's going to do really well now. Anyway, thank you for sticking around and watching this one. I'm quite proud of how this is going to be, well, quite proud of myself of the amount of time and effort I've put into this one. If you like one, please do give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Drop me a comment, ask me a question. In fact, don't just ask me a question, give me some advice. What do you think? Please don't bash me about the wiring. I know it's awful. Anyway, that's it for this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll give you an update as soon as it starts growing. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Bye. It looks so good. I'm happy with this one.